Well, let's get stock specific then. Lupin will be in focus today on account of Mandideep unit. Ekta will tell us why. So, Ekta, the regulatory issues continue for Lupin then.
Well, yes, this is definitely negative news which is coming for Lupin. But, you know, if you really saw the signs were really there for the taking that Mandideep unit is probably going to face some amount of issues. Now, remember that just to give you a background, the Mandideep unit was inspected all the way back in November to December 2018. At that point in time, the US FTA had issued 22 observations to that particular plant. After remediation or, based on the fact that they received 22 observations, the street was expecting that maybe there could be a classification or a classification as such as OAI or official action indicated, which is exactly what the US FTA has done. Official action indicated means that there's a higher chance of that particular facility getting a warning letter. And secondly, it means that the US FTA basically needs to come back and re-inspect the plant post the remediation. So while there is a higher chance of getting the warning letter for the Mandideep plant, there are two pieces of impact here for Lupin. First is that there is no financial impact for Lupin when it comes to the Mandideep facility. Luckily, this particular facility is a very old plant. It's around 5 to 6% of their total US sales, around $45 million in terms of sales generated from this particular plant. And separately, we do have the fact that, there are no new filings from this particular plant. So there will be no new drugs which would be impacted in terms of approvals. Secondly, however, the negative impact is that there could be a systemic risk that the US FTA may find in the Lupin company as a whole, because this would be the third plant that receives a warning letter since 2017, if in case that is the case that culminates. So that would probably be the negative that we would need to watch out for. But separately, yes, negative news, but no new filings from that particular facility.
Absolutely, Ekta. Thanks a lot for that. Lupin is a stock we'll keep on our radar. Remember, yesterday in the last hour of trade, we saw a sharp decline on that stock. But a look at the Asian markets, we're seeing some bit of moves coming by in the Nikkei. Remember, the Nikkei opened with a gain of about 1.5%. It's given up most of them, currently sitting with a gain of just about 0.6%, while the Shanghai as well as the Hang Seng have opened. Shanghai is open in the red. We're seeing a 70-point gain coming in on the Hong Kong index. The Korean market's sitting pretty with a decent amount of gain, while the Straits has only extended its cut on the downside. We have the SGX Nifty, which now indicates a start at around 7 points. So Asia, more or less positive. So good news coming in as far as the global screen is concerned. But let's shift focus to the commodity space then. Manisha Gupta, as always, joins us with the update. Manisha, crude now inching slightly higher.
Oh, well, yes, it is now at a 4-month highs, and the investors are focusing on global production cuts. While we have seen the OPEC and the allies continue to cut more, it is about involuntary cuts as well, as we see Venezuela supply disruptions. 2 storage tanks exploded in Venezuela. So that means that the supplies from Venezuela are continue to going down. Venezuela, remember, is the biggest oil reserves, country with the biggest oil reserves in the world. And the kind of tensions that the country has been facing has been putting the supplies on pressure. Apart from that, the U.S. weekly crude also declined by 3.9 million barrels. Markets were anticipating a build-up, so that also seems to be supporting the prices. So we already are trading on the higher side of the range. A break of 68 on the higher side will take you to 70 sooner than expected. Good gains is what you are seeing in the metal prices, also on stronger demand estimates. Markets do believe that these are perhaps final weeks of conversation between U.S. and China before a trade resolve actually takes place. And apart from that, it also has to do with strong demand estimates, as I said. Because of that, the nickel prices are up 30% in this year. We've seen zinc prices trade at 8-month highs, 15% up for zinc as well for this year right now.
Right, Manisha, thanks a lot for that. Let's shift focus back to the equity space, more so given the fact it is weekly options expiry. And while the recent rally on the Nifty has been nothing short of breathtaking, the last 4 days or ever since last Thursday, the ferocity has only increased. Since last Thursday, the Nifty is up around 284 points. We've seen a 1,000-point rally on the Nifty Bank. And in percentage terms, the Nifty Bank is the one which has outperformed 4% gains in just the last 4 days, while the mid-cap index has actually underperformed in percentage terms. The large cap outperformance perhaps can be explained by the beefy flows that we're seeing coming in from the FIIs in the cash market. Yesterday too, there was a purchase of close to 2,700 crores. Over the last 4 trading sessions, the average daily inflow has been 2,500 crores. Yesterday's flows can be explained by the huge delivery buying that we saw in HDFC Twins. FII buying in index futures also has intensified. Last 2 trading sessions, almost 4,000 crores added. And in just the last 3 sessions, the FII long exposure has touched levels closer to 60% in terms of long exposure, and this compares with levels closer to 50% all this in just the last 3 trading sessions. Index options data, that too shows the sort of heaps of coal that is being thrown into this bull engine, because not only did FIIs buy 87,000 long calls, they also sold 1 lakh short puts in just the last 4 trading sessions, or for this weekly options expiry. 1.4 lakh short puts, and this compares with 87,000 long calls added in just the last 4 trading sessions. Is this data heady? Yes. Can the party continue? Yes. Should one leave? Perhaps not yet. Should one turn the wrist and look at the watch? Most definitely, because the Nifty weekly options just for today, we have a range made at 11,300 put and 11,400 call. With the crude rising, it'll be very interesting to see where this goes. And finally, just one stock on our radar. Watch out for Just Dial. The stock ended 18% higher yesterday. The open interest was high by 33.5%. But between the cash and futures, there is a discount of close to 54 rupees. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But that's as far as Just Dial is concerned. But for all the other stocks which are likely to react to news, reports, and brokerage commentary, Sonal, what is that list?
All right, then I'll start with HCL Tech, because the company has announced an acquisition. So Citi says, Credit Suisse in fact says that they have a target of around 1,310 rupees and an outperform call. But they say that this acquisition is small, but it will still add around 50 basis points to the growth prospects by FY20. They also say this acquisition will help company enhance their Mode 2 offerings. So however this is a small acquisition, it will add something to company's growth. Deutsche Bank has written on the insurance sector. Remember, the monthly data came out yesterday. They think that the growth has rebounded for all the private players. SBI and ICICI, these 2 insurance companies, they have witnessed strong trends, and they have seen sharpest recovery for SBI Life, ICICI Pru, and growth appears to be bottoming out as of now. And Deutsche Bank has also written on Yes Bank. They have a buy rating. However, they have increased the target price to 300 rupees versus 280 rupees earlier. They think that the things are falling in place, and likely softer earnings will be there, but the quality is all set to improve. Lastly, the Lupin news that has come in, the Mandideep unit. Nomura says that it was already known. It was obvious that something like this would come up. However, it raises concerns on companies' ability to handle some regulatory issues. But that's all we have on Power Breakfast today. Bazaar Morning Call comes up next.